Welcome to round 5 of the standard metagame challenge. I just realized the event ends in 12 hours, so I need to crank out these last few rounds before that happens. Hopefully we do get to play all 3 of the remaining rounds. And I think this is definitely good enough to keep. We have a lot of early plays, as well as Treacherous Blessing, which is quickly becoming my favorite card. We still have not really played a true aggro deck. This looks like we might be playing some version of Simic Ramp. And I think Birth of Melita should be fine here. We can Treacherous Blessing next turn. And I think we've drawn all of our planes. Something to keep in mind, Birth of Melita is no longer valuable for getting land. Yeah, I think Treacherous Blessing makes a lot of sense. We'll have to discard a card. I think it makes sense to discard the Godless Shrine here. And we really just want to find Doom Foretold. Go ahead and find a blue source. Go ahead and play this on their turn in case we do find a 2-mana play. Kaya's Wrath should be pretty strong against a Sultai deck. I don't think we want the Hallowed Fountain, but I like having Kaya's Wrath as a bit of insurance. Alright, Lucranos Unchained, very cool. No real reason to Kaya's Wrath on this turn, so let's draw some cards. Again, I think it makes sense to scry first. And we don't want either of those. And we'll scry again. Still don't want that. And finally, we'll draw our card. If they want to spend their turn fighting our wall and then attacking, I'm okay with that. Hopefully they commit another creature to the board here. And a lot of lands go to the graveyard, jeez. So this is interesting. We are going to clear the board. They are going to be one short of bringing Pelucranos back. Don't think that really changes anything here, but let's go ahead and clear it. They can also choose to put Pelucranos on top and just replay it. And at this point we really need to find Doom Foretold. Elspeth's Nightmare may be good enough to keep just because of the exiling their graveyard clause. It does seem like they're going to be playing with some escape cards. I think I am going to keep that one. This will help us clean up the second time we kill Pelucranos. We should be able to clear out their graveyard before they can replay it. And I thought there might be an Uro here as well. Cavalier of Thorns. So at this point, we're looking to play Elspeth's Nightmare, not Wrath just yet, and hopefully Wrath to clear their whole board once they bring back some of their escape creatures. We'll start with a Scry. And I do think this is good enough as well. It could help us find Doom Foretold. Play out Elspeth's Nightmare. And we are going to play out Oath of Kaya. I haven't seen any real creature targets for this. So the more fodder we can get on the battlefield for our Doom Foretolds, the better. So here, I'm hoping that they play probably Uro out of the yard and one other creature, and we can clear the board. Oh, Casualties of War. That does make things a little bit more difficult for us. Doom Foretold would still be excellent. Looks like Uro is going to come down. So we are going to Wrath this turn and hopefully find some more action. I think we start out seeing what we can draw. Teferi and Golden Egg. Golden Egg is definitely not good enough. Teferi against some of the escape creatures is interesting. I think I'm going to keep that one. We are going to Wrath to clear the board. So next turn we can Teferi bounce their play, and then we're really in that territory where we have to find Doom Foretold, or we risk falling too far behind. This deck seems like one of the few decks that can keep up with the late game of our deck. So they're going to take us off of our only blue source again. Very interesting. I did not expect that, to be totally honest. That makes the Teferi Keep look really silly. So at this point, it's pretty much Doom Foretold or bust. Falling pretty far behind now. A blue source to bounce Uro would be not the worst thing. And again, really need to find you.
You show remorse. I've got it.
Unfortunately, Oath of Kaya is probably not going to help us much, but we can play it out anyway, pad our life total, and at least have one in the yard if we do draw Dance of the Ants. Alright, I feel like we've seen Uro quite a few times this game. And they've got a couple different escape options as well in the yard. I suspect Uro will come back out. Blueprint from hand here. And that will do it. We are not going to be able to come back this game. So let's go to game 2. I definitely like having the two ways to interact with the graveyard. Seems like that could take them off a lot of their game plan. Also, D-Spark seems really good as we can permanently get rid of some of their more troublesome creatures. Birth of Melita seems uninspiring. Devout Decree doesn't really help us in this matchup. I don't think we saw anything other than Pelucranos, although it may be worth it for that card. I think since we are on the play, I'd rather keep it out, though. It seems a bit too reactive, and we want to try to execute our game plan. And I don't know if I want to make any other changes. We could bring in some mystical disputes, but that seems loose, especially as they're generating so many lands on the battlefield. They'll probably be able to pay it for the most part. I think I'm going to run it like this and see how it goes. Okay, this is a borderline hand. I think we're going to keep, we have the Scryland and a golden egg to draw an additional card, but it is definitely the low end of what we can keep. And send the lands to the bottom. We'll shock here, start drawing some additional cards. Interesting. So I suspect they'll take D-Spark here. And now we need to find some action. Of note, it's never really worth it to just sacrifice Golden Egg for the life, mainly because it can be used as Doom Foretold fodder. But as we saw in a previous round, it can also help fix our mana when we are struggling. Alright, we found the marquee card, and really the only card that can keep us in this game at this point. So we're looking for more Doom Foretolds and eventually a Dance of the Mance. Elspeth's Nightmare would be pretty good as well, just to keep them off all of the graveyard shenanigans. Alright, they found Pelucranos. If we clear the board here, that will give them 5 cards in the yard, which is exactly enough for an Uro, although Uro is counting as one of them, so they need to get one more in the yard. I think here we're going to hold off on the Kaya's Wrath. We're going to make Pelucranos a little smaller and play a tap land. We'll shrink it down to 1. Golden Egg, I don't think is good enough. we'll leave Pelucranos out here at 1. A lot of Uro in the yard. Hydroid Kratos will refill their hand a little bit. Alright. Let's see if we can find something good. Well, the lands will not do it. I do like Elspeth's Nightmare. So this is their chance to get something out of their yard, although I do have the Wrath still. And if they choose to escape something this turn, they will not have enough in their yard, most likely, to do it again next turn. Oh man, Casualties of War has just destroyed us these past couple games. That is a very good card against us right now. Alright, let's see if there's anything on the horizon. Keep the Omen. Pass the turn. And it feels like, again, we've fallen a little bit too far behind. Teferi bouncing something could buy us a little bit of time. Could also be an answer if we Wrath and they escape something. I think Teferi bouncing here is even better though. Alright, we're not technically dead yet. And we know we're going to have to Wrath, but we might as well see what else we can find. Feels like they may have another negate. Take the card draw here. If they have Mystical Dispute, we want to play out our land first and Wrath now. Helps to play against play around everything we can. That will do it. Alright, thank you for joining for the standard metagame challenge. We ended up 4-1 with Esper Dance. I'm still trying to refine this list a little bit, but it does feel very powerful and it's a lot of fun to play. I encourage you to try it, and if you enjoyed these videos, please like and subscribe. Thank you.